Hello, welcome to the channel that has a new name now. Fausto Botelho, that's who I am, broadcasting from Brazil. And here we use our experience in technical analysis and try to extract logical indications about the future behavior of the prices. I changed the name of the channel for regulatory reasons. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to be showing you why I think Bitcoin is reverting. And later on, we're going to be talking about the cryptos that we're keeping an eye on. And afterwards, I'm going to be showing you the 4 cryptos that we sent buying calls yesterday. So, to begin with, let's go to the charts and take a look again in the S&P chart. 2 weeks ago, I made a video and the market was around here. And I said I thought this would be broken. The market came to the support level, which is the bottom between the two tops. Two tops that can now be called as a double top already because we've broken these. And I want to show you this one here. That's the S&P 500, and this is the futures market. This is the S&P for March 2009 now. This is a contract that goes round the clock. It's similar to the cryptos because it stops for only 15 minutes. That's why it's hard for you to see a gap. And day before yesterday, the 17th, on these 15 minutes, the market dropped. So it showed a gap in the opening. And but let's begin with the S&P 500, which is the cash index, so to say. It broke the support line. Actually, this support line is level in the lowest price of this bottom. The market broke it yesterday, and very important, today the real body was below this level, even though the market went upward. So I think this is very common to happen. The market might produce a downward flag here. Eventually, it might go a little bit up. I think the resistance would be found at 2600 over here. And but at any time now, I think we can see the market rushing to the objective that can be projected from the double top, which comes down here, 2,250, 2,260 more or less. Actually, I projected this objective from this level here, which was the last low, the nearest low that we had, and it passes by all these other lows here that happened in the beginning of the year. But anyway, whenever we project something, it's more or less, right? It's really more or less. These other projection here, the red colored one, is the height of the rectangle that we saw forming here. So a first objective at 2400, and then another objective that is the double top projecting down here. So where does that leads us? To this support here, to this bottom here in the beginning of 2017. And these all the projection leads us to this all these stops here. See? Oops. All these stops here. Here we go. So we have a top here, and we have a top close to here. So as I was saying, anytime now the market can reach these objectives. And if I'm right and there's going to be a crash, then these other 10% are going to be made very fast. Not these 10%, 11% actually, by the way. Because the market can come and can come fast to the first correction, Fibonacci correction level, which would be down here, and which would mean the S&P would fall another 30%, losing the third of its value that I told you I was expecting it to lose. Why do I think this is going to be a crash? Well, it's very simple, look at this upward trend, this bull market here, and compare to this one. We had a crash in 2008, while the U.S. deficit was $9 trillion. Now look at this upward movement. It's much bigger than this one here. And instead of 9 trillion, the U.S. had almost 22 trillion now in debt. So things are not looking good, right? So I think the probability for a crash it's much bigger now. And if that happens, it doesn't mean that the market would have to come to these first correction, Fibonacci correction level. It could go much, much below. But anyway, that's enough already, right? So I've been saying that Bitcoin would, let me just show you the future market. And if in the cash market, the market broke the support yesterday, right? In the futures market confirmed it today as the future market in daily price. That's the close, and the close is lower than the close was because it's already 7:45. So it's been an hour, a little more than an hour than the market closed. And in this hour, let's go to an hourly chart. That's what happened in the last hour. The market was here, and then it went to the lows, and that's another 0.6%. So, and who knows? It's definitely broken the support here to 25.50, right? So who knows where we're going to see this market tomorrow. Now, if we come back to the hourly chart, to the daily chart, we can observe that the market broke the support level yesterday, right? Or if we come here, the 17th was the day that it started, right? As I showed you, the market opened a gap in the futures market, which is very rare because as the cryptos, it goes round the clock, right? So, and what happened to Bitcoin? I've been saying that Bitcoin was probably going to suffer in the first moment when the crash came. But what happened to Bitcoin was that it crashed before the markets, right? It crashed 51%, and that was very fast. That was 51%. Market lose a half of its value in only a month, exactly 32 days. So, having crashed, we see Bitcoin going up, going straight up, closing 8.4% upwards. It was a little more because we're still showing in our chart the close of the markets 2 hours before UTC. We're fixing that. That gives us a different candle in the daily chart, but the candles are the same for the intraday charts. Or 90% of the intraday charts, the candles are the same. So in the day, is it a coincidence that in the day that the market starts showing, the bears start showing their claws in the market, in the futures market, Bitcoin starts to go up, and it's confirming its bullish reversal here. Besides, if we go to an hour chart, to the hourly chart, we see that we had these. Well, actually, that's not correct. Somebody touched my cheese. Oh, somebody touched my resistance line here. So it broke this resistance line, and it went up like hell. And eventually, one could say, no, well, this the resistance line would be over here, touching 1, 2, touching this and this here. So now there's no doubt, right? The market broke the resistance line. That's a short-term resistance line, but it's a resistance line of a 50% drop movement, which makes it very important. This resembles like a continuation pattern that is going to continue this movement here. So this is it, my friends. We actually, one of the 4 coins that we called a long position yesterday is definitely Bitcoin. We're long in Bitcoin, and but there's other 3 coins that I want to show you guys too. So quickly, let's take a look at what's happening in the world, and that's the proof, after all, that there's a flight for quality going on. That's the 10-year note of the US, and it's falling. And why is it falling? Because the capitals of the world are exiting risky situations and going into Uncle Sam protection, which is not as it used to be because of the 22 trillion, almost 22 trillion debt. But, that's what happens. And my thesis is that a tiny little bit of that flight for quality might land in crypto airport. And if that happens, it's too much money for too little market capitalization. As I said in the other video, only the New York Stock Exchange carries something like 26, or used to, because it's a little less now, but it's around $26 trillion. So 1% of that is $260 billion. Considering that the market cap is now around $100 billion, that would more than double. That's more than double of just one tiny little percent of the market cap of New York Stock Exchange. There's the whole world that has much more than that. So take a look at the Nikkei. Look what's happening in Japan. There's a long-term support line broken, and the market also accumulated on what looks like a rectangle, and it's almost, we could say, it's broken. Opened a gap, closed in the low. It's very ugly. Now the most important index of China also accumulating, and it looks like it's continuing to fall. This accumulation to continue the previous plan. And that's the most important thing. I've been saying that for a while already. Oil prices have crashed. Oil prices have crashed 39% in 2 months, 2.5 months, right? So what's the message oil prices are giving us? They're giving us a clear message that there is going to be a recession. Very simple, right? So recession, and we're going to take a look. That's the first time a recession and a flight for quality happens on a marketplace where it exists, the crypto class of assets. Let's see what happens on that, right? So, very ugly. Now, let me show you the cryptos that we're keeping an eye on. Here we go. First one is Ethereum Classic. We think it's flagging up here, so that's why we're keeping an eye. If it goes above 0.0012, it's probably going to be a buy. Lisk, it's also testing these resistance line, long-term resistance line already, almost long-term. Consider long-term after when it goes over a year. Nano, we're almost issuing a buying call because it broke these important resistance line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, and but we're just waiting for confirmation, and that we do the hourly chart. So we're expecting this triangle to push prices up. Ontology, we missed it, but we're expecting a flag here. If it flags up, I think, because it reversed on the all-time low of the contract, right? Quantum is testing this resistance line, and it flagged up, and let's see what happens here. Also, Siacoin is actually testing and apparently broke, and it's almost re-entering its former support line. If it re-enters it, we're going to have a bear trap here, and that might be a chance to buy. Stellar is flagging down. We're keeping an eye for a short position on Stellar. Tron was testing these important resistance level here after it produced these sideways for 1, 2, 3 months, but it doesn't seem to be healthy enough to be able to break this resistance line. And finally, Verge, we're keeping an eye on it because there's this kind of wedge being formed here, and it's flagging up here. So we're keeping an eye on it. Oh no, and there's Zilliqa. Zilliqa is testing this resistance line and is apparently showing its biceps. Let's take a look in the 1 hour chart. Yeah, if it flags up, we're probably going to be issuing a bullish call for Zilliqa. Now, Zilliqa is a project for people to make smart contracts. It's a Ethereum concurrent. Now, I'll show you the calls that we made. First one is Bitcoin, which is actually showing signs of strength again. Then we also issued a call on IOTA, which is doing very, very well. It's already up 7.3%. The objective is 0.00013, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 13,000 satoshis, right? So far, we have moved our stop, which is administered in the hourly chart. We usually put the stop to lows below current price. Actually, are two technical events, because if we have a support line here, we consider whenever we are able to draw a support line, then we would be considering the support line as the first technical event. So in practice, what we would do is that we would be tighten up the stop for the first low, for this first support, considering here the hourly chart, right? So nowadays it's already here. So we lowered our risk from eventual 10%. Doesn't mean one that will fall our call would lose 10% of its capital. That's absurd, right? He would adequate its position size in order to lose what? 1%, no more. No more than that of its total capital. But anyway, the risk was 10%, 10.3%, and it is now 5.9%. We're looking forward to move this stop over here, so we will be eventually losing only 0.7%. We've also made a call for Litecoin. Litecoin, we've placed some fundamental analysis here, and that was with all this fight going on with Bitcoin Cash. We thought eventually Litecoin could be the one that would, run along together with Bitcoin and do the light and quick transactions. But let's see. It's not going very well. But we'll wait a little more. And also Ripple. Ripple has broken this wedge or this symmetrical triangle. And even though we're having a shooting star until now, it didn't close yet. So it's on our buying price. And that's it, my friend. So if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.